What's going on, guys? Just got another Jeep finished up here and wanted to show you. It's definitely a little more unique than the last one. Kind of give you a quick walk around and then we'll go and take it on a drive. I had a few people comment on that last video asking, you know, how the ride quality after the lift and wheels and tires is. So we'll go out and drive it down the road and let you know how very drivable it still is, even with 37s with that Mopar 2-inch lift. So let's do a quick walk around on this thing and see what you guys think. So like I said, this thing is a little bit unique. We've got a full matte black wrap over what was an original gloss black Rubicon Unlimited, sitting on some 22 by 12.5 inch fuel wheels wrapped with some 37-inch Toyo MTs. Now, you know, the 22s may not be my style, but you know, I could guess I can understand the look the customer was going for on this thing. But yeah, from hardtop, doors, everything wrapped in that matte black. And we've got the Amp Research power running boards, which is kind of a cool touch. Again, we're running that Mopar 2-inch lift with those factory Fox Racing shocks, which work so well. So coming up to the front, we've got another Fab Fours stubby front bumper with that Rubicon branded Warren winch, which works really well and looks good sitting there on that bumper. Didn't do too much else here. We've got the factory Mopar tire carrier and the tailgate reinforcement on this thing. But like I said, started off life as a Rubicon, have that Mopar 2-inch lift on it. Threw some Mopar LED lights on the A-pillar there and on that Fab Fours bumper. So definitely kind of a unique look to it with the larger wheels and tires, but it'll turn heads. And oh, I guess another big thing is the fenders front and rear got pulled off and sent out and got bed linered. So it did not turn out as rough as I was thinking it was going to be, and it honestly doesn't look too awful bad. So it's like I said, unique look to it, but mainly wanted to go out and drive this thing so you guys could see how nice and how well the road manners are still, even with 37s with that lift. And this one in theory should ride a little bit rougher since it does have 22s versus our normal, you know, 17s that we normally are running on a lifted up Jeep. But we'll go out and drive this thing and see how it goes down the road. All right, so like I said, this one should in theory be a little rougher than some of our other builds with the smaller 17-inch wheels, because you've got more tire sidewall to work as suspension. This on 22s is probably not going to be the best example since it should be a little bit rougher, but it's still going to probably ride considerably better than a lot of those aftermarket lifts out there. Mopar just did a really good job working with Fox on the shock valving and the spring rates. It just all works really well together. This specific Jeep is a V6 with the 8-speed automatic. This one actually is an e-torque V6 with the 8-speed automatic. So that 8-speed transmission just works really, really well. Accelerates well, passing power, even with the factory gearing with these 37s. So it's a really, really good transmission and motor combination on these Jeeps. Now the new one coming out with the 392 V8, that one should move even better, of course, but these are completely adequate moving down the road, even with big, huge, heavy wheels and tires. We've obviously got a little bit more road noise with these mud terrains versus an all-terrain, but just like that, we're up to 60 miles an hour, and it just really doesn't seem to bother the vehicle. Now maybe if you had a bunch of cargo, a bunch of people going up a hill into the wind, you would notice a more lacking power. But in Kansas, at least with our slight inclines, it works really well. And you know, I've got one hand on the steering wheel, and it's not a fight to drive this thing down the road. It drives nice and straight. Obviously, a big wheel and tire is going to kind of pull or drag you around more than the stock tire, but it just really drives really nice. You know, a lot of people think of a big lifted clunky Jeep or truck, and modern vehicles with the correct lift and everything done like it should just really do not drive like junk. It just drives nice. And you know, paying that little bit more money for that Mopar lift comes with it driving nicer. Another big kind of benefit of a Mopar lift is the fact you retain the factory warranty. And not to say that a aftermarket lift is immediately going to void your warranty, but if there was an issue that was caused from that aftermarket lift, unfortunately the factory warranty is not going to cover it. But when you choose to go with that Mopar lift, you have no worry in your mind, because it's a Mopar lift. It's covered under that factory 3-year 36,000 mile warranty. So if a shock were to leak or some part somehow get worn, make noise, it's free. Bring it into a dealership anywhere and you get new parts put on it. So it's really the way to go. If I was personally lifting my JL or JK for that matter, I would definitely be going with that Mopar lift. Now you can add parts and pieces onto that Mopar lift. If you are wanting to do adjustable track bars or whatever, you can definitely add that to it. But just that base Mopar 2-inch lift is a really good good system. You know, the front springs have the lower isolators, which help correct for the JL spring bow issue that they're known for. So everything's kind of thought out and taken care of. So it's really a good lift, and it just rides so nice. So we are going to jump off the highway, and then we'll jump back on and kind of do a hard acceleration to let you guys see or feel that the thing still can accelerate like you'd want a brand new Jeep to accelerate. All right, so we are getting ready to jump back on the on-ramp here. We're doing 15 miles an hour, and with moderate throttle, I'm maybe half throttle. Normal acceleration, not pushing the vehicle. We're already doing 60 miles an hour, and we're not even to the highway yet. So very easy to still merge into traffic, and it would only be easier with a lighter weight wheel and tire. If you weren't on a big 22 and you were on a normal 17-inch wheel, it would just help even more. So it's just really still a nice driving vehicle. You don't have to worry about, you know, re-gearing it. Previously with older Wranglers, TJs, you almost had to re-gear that vehicle if you wanted it to move down the highway. But with this 8-speed transmission, it just works really well. Another kind of cool thing the factory offers is a factory tire size calibration. And you know, there's a bunch of different aftermarket programmers that you can also calibrate the tire size. But the kind of cool thing about going through Mopar, you come into the dealership, you measure the actual tire height, and then you buy the sales contract for that tire height. It changes the ABS programming, the stability programming to kind of match that higher ride height. So it's not just changing the speedometer, it's changing a whole bunch of other parameters that you don't normally think about when you're lifting a vehicle, and just making it work as it should. So even if, you know, that factory contract may be a little bit more than you could buy a cheap aftermarket tire calibration programmer for, it's kind of the way to go with that factory calibration. So like I said, been driving this thing, talking to you guys, and it's it's like you're driving a stock vehicle. Of course, you have a little more road noise, but it just drives really, really well, even on big 22s. So if you're thinking about going with a lift on a JL or JT or JK for that matter, really, really look into this Mopar 2-inch lift. It works well, factory warranty. There's not much bad about it. So hopefully this kind of answers some more questions on how it rides, how it drives, how it accelerates, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.